What to do financially when a loved one dies. 15 things families often forget. When someone you love passes away, money is probably the last thing you want to think about. You're grieving, you're contacting family members, you're thinking about the funeral, you're trying to understand what just happened. But while the family is grieving, the financial life of the person who passed away doesn't simply stop. There may still be mortgage payments, credit cards, bank accounts, insurance policies, retirement accounts, automatic payments, taxes, property, and possibly debts that nobody in the family even knew existed. So here's an important question. If someone close to you passed away tomorrow, would you know what financial steps needed to happen next? And just as important, would your family know what to do if something happened to you? Today we're going to talk about 15 financial things families often forget after a loved one dies. And stay with me, because one of the biggest mistakes can happen when a family starts paying bills they may not personally be responsible for. Welcome back to Money Smart Basics. My name is Alfonso Brooks Bay, and on this channel, we talk about the financial decisions that can help you prepare for retirement and beyond. Today's conversation is different because we're talking about something most families don't want to think about: death. But financial planning isn't only about accumulating money. It's also about making sure the people we leave behind know what to do with what we've accumulated. This isn't legal or tax advice. Estate laws and individual circumstances can be very different, so families may need assistance from an attorney, accountant, financial professional, or other qualified professional. But today, I want to give you a financial overview of what happens after someone passes away, and some of the things families frequently overlook. Don't let grief create financial panic. Let me start with a story. Imagine a woman named Denise. Her mother passes away unexpectedly at 76. Her mother lived in the same house for more than 30 years. Within a few days, Denise is helping arrange the funeral. Family members are coming into town. Flowers are arriving. People are calling. Everyone is asking questions. Then Denise starts going through her mother's mail. She finds a mortgage statement, 3 credit card statements, a life insurance letter, a pension statement, a bank statement, and something from an investment company she's never heard of. Suddenly, Denise realizes, I don't know anything about Mom's finances. She doesn't know where the will is. She doesn't know whether the house has a beneficiary arrangement. She doesn't know who is listed on the life insurance policy. And she doesn't know whether she's supposed to start paying her mother's bills. That's where financial confusion can begin. So let's talk about what families frequently overlook. Number 1, the death certificate. One of the most important documents following someone's death is the certified death certificate. Families may need certified copies when dealing with financial institutions, insurance companies, retirement accounts, government agencies, property transfers, and the estate. That's why families often obtain multiple certified copies. Think about it. You can't simply call a bank and say, "My father passed away, please give me access to his account." The institution has procedures it must follow. The death certificate is one of the documents that helps begin that process. Number 2, find the will or trust. The second thing families may overlook is locating the estate planning documents. Is there a will? Is there a trust? Who was named executor or personal representative? Who is the successor trustee? Where are the original documents? A safe? A filing cabinet? An attorney's office? A safe deposit box? Here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Does your family know where your important documents are located right now? Having a will is helpful, but having a will that nobody can find can create an entirely different problem. Number 3, understand that power of attorney ends. This surprises many families. Someone may have had financial power of attorney while their loved one was alive. They may have paid bills, managed accounts, talked with insurance companies, but generally, that authority ends when the person dies. After death, financial authority normally comes through the estate process, a properly appointed personal representative or executor, a trustee, or another legally recognized arrangement. That distinction is extremely important. Number 4, secure the property. Financial planning after death isn't only about bank accounts. Someone needs to think about the physical property, the house, vehicles, jewelry, important paperwork, computers, phones, business equipment, collectibles, even pets. If the person lived alone, who's checking the house? Who's collecting the mail? Is the homeowner's insurance still in effect? Are utilities still being paid? Is the property vacant? These things matter because an estate can lose money simply because nobody was paying attention to the property. Number 5, don't automatically pay their debts yourself. This is a big one. Suppose dad passes away with a $6,000 credit card balance. A collection company contacts his daughter and says, "We need payment." She becomes nervous and writes a check from her own checking account. But was that debt actually hers? Not necessarily. Generally, a deceased person's individual debts are handled through their estate. There can be exceptions involving joint accounts, co-signers, jointly held obligations, certain marital property rules, and other circumstances. That's why families shouldn't simply assume, "My parent died, so now their debt belongs to me." Before personally paying a deceased person's debt, understand who is legally responsible. Number 6, identify every bank account. How many financial accounts does your spouse have? Could you answer that today? Checking, savings, credit unions, online banks, certificates of deposit, money market accounts, payment apps. Families sometimes know about the primary checking account, but don't know about an old savings account opened 15 years ago. That's why financial records, tax returns, email, and mail can become important clues when identifying assets. Number 7, find the retirement accounts. Don't forget retirement money. A person may have a 401k, 403b, IRA, Roth IRA, pension, thrift savings plan, or retirement benefits from a previous employer. And here's where things become especially important. Who is the beneficiary? Retirement accounts frequently have beneficiary designations that affect how the money transfers after death. The beneficiary designation can be extremely important, regardless of what family members assume should happen. Number 8, look for life insurance. Imagine Denise from our earlier story finding a life insurance statement in her mother's paperwork. She had no idea the policy existed. That could represent thousands, or potentially much more, in benefits. Families should look for individual life insurance policies, employer-sponsored coverage, union benefits, mortgage-related coverage, burial policies, and older policies the deceased may have purchased years ago. And don't assume a policy doesn't exist simply because nobody remembers hearing about it. Number 9, contact Social Security and pension providers. Families also need to understand what happens to income after death. Social Security benefits can change. Pension payments can change. Some pensions provide survivor benefits. Others may stop or change based on the options selected when the person retired. The surviving spouse may also have questions about survivor benefits. This is why understanding your spouse's retirement income before a crisis happens is so important. Could your spouse explain every source of household retirement income if you weren't there tomorrow? That's a serious financial planning question. Number 10, stop or review automatic payments. Think about how many things automatically come out of your account every month. Streaming services, gym memberships, cell phone bills, insurance, software, subscriptions, credit cards, charitable contributions, storage units, internet service. Some of these expenses may continue month after month unless somebody reviews them. But don't immediately shut down every account either. Some services, such as electricity, insurance, security systems, or utilities at a house, may need to remain active while the estate is being settled. The key is knowing what exists. Number 11, check how the home is titled. For many families, the house is the largest asset, but who actually owns it after someone dies? That depends on how the property was titled and the applicable law. Was it owned individually, jointly, with survivorship rights? Was it placed in a trust? Is there still a mortgage? Families shouldn't automatically assume that because someone wrote something in a will, every asset transfers exactly the same way. Ownership and beneficiary arrangements matter. Number 12, don't forget digital assets. This is becoming increasingly important. What happens to someone's digital financial life when they die? Online banking, investment accounts, cryptocurrency, cloud storage, online businesses, websites, domains, payment platforms, digital subscriptions, even monetized social media or content accounts. Imagine someone accumulated cryptocurrency over several years, but nobody in the family knows where the wallet is or how the estate is supposed to access it. The asset may exist, but accessing it could become extremely difficult. Our financial lives are increasingly digital, and our estate planning needs to recognize that reality. Number 13, watch for tax responsibilities. Death doesn't necessarily eliminate tax filing responsibilities. There may be a final individual income tax return. Depending on the circumstances, there could also be estate-related tax filings. State rules may also be different from federal rules. The important thing is not to assume. They passed away, so taxes no longer matter. An executor or personal representative may need professional tax guidance before distributing everything from the estate. Number 14, protect the deceased from identity theft. Here's something families rarely think about. A deceased person's identity can still be stolen. Criminals may attempt to use personal information to open accounts or commit fraud. That's why sensitive documents should be protected. Mail should be monitored. Financial accounts should be properly handled. Credit reporting agencies may need to be notified, and families should be careful about how much personal information they publish publicly. Even during grief, protecting someone's financial identity remains important. Section 16, number 15. Don't distribute the money too quickly. This may be one of the biggest mistakes. Suppose an estate has $100,000 sitting in a bank account. There are 4 children. Someone says, "That's easy. Everybody gets $25,000. Not so fast. What about funeral expenses, outstanding legitimate debts, taxes, legal or administrative expenses, property expenses, other beneficiaries, other assets?" The estate may need to satisfy certain obligations before the remaining property can properly be distributed. Distributing everything too quickly could create major problems later. The bigger financial lesson. Now let's go back to Denise. After several months, she eventually gets through her mother's financial affairs. But when everything is finished, Denise says something important. "I wish Mom and I had talked about this while she was still here." And that's really the bigger lesson of today's conversation. This video isn't only about what happens after someone dies. It's about what we can understand before that day arrives. Do the people you love know where your important documents are? Do they know where you bank? Do they know whether you have life insurance? Do they know about your retirement accounts? Do they know who to contact? Do they know where your will or trust is located? And does your spouse understand the household finances well enough to continue if you're no longer there? Those aren't comfortable questions, but they are important questions. Conclusion. When someone passes away, families aren't simply dealing with grief. They're often dealing with an entire financial life that has to be carefully closed, transferred, protected, and accounted for. Remember the 15 areas we discussed: the death certificate, the will or trust, legal authority, securing property, debts, bank accounts, retirement accounts, life insurance, Social Security and pensions, automatic payments, the home, digital assets, taxes, identity protection, and finally, properly distributing the estate. The goal isn't to make families afraid of death. The goal is preparation. Because one of the greatest financial gifts you can leave your family isn't simply money. It's clarity. Knowing what you own, knowing where everything is, knowing who is responsible, and having a plan that doesn't leave your family searching for answers during one of the hardest times of their lives. CTA. So here's my question for you today. If something happened to you tomorrow, could your family find everything they would need within 24 hours? Your will, insurance information, bank accounts, retirement accounts, property information, and the names of the people they need to contact. If the answer is no, this may be a conversation worth having with your family. And if you've ever had to handle the finances of a loved one who passed away, share your experience in the comments. What was the one thing you weren't prepared for? Your experience might help another family avoid the same problem. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the like button, subscribe to Money Smart Basics, and share this video with someone who needs to have this conversation with their family. Because here at Money Smart Basics, we're focused on helping you make smarter financial decisions for retirement and beyond. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. The information provided in this content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, or legal counsel before making any financial decisions. The creator of this content is not responsible for any actions taken based on the information provided. Investments and financial decisions carry risk, and past performance does not guarantee future results.